Key.
No.
What?
Keg stands.
Keg stands.
Keg stands?
Yeah.
What? You added this.
Overrated.
Why do you think that PLG in the SaaS industry is table stakes right now?
If you want to grow fast, if you want to enable that speed, you have to have a motion where people can try it before they buy, like overnight.
Do you think all of them, if they want the PLG, are going to transition in 3.0?
If you're not doing that to some degree, you're cooked.
This episode is made possible by SaaStonic 2026, where SaaS meets sea and sand.
This time we really have someone special.
Because
It's one of those episodes where I know I'm constantly saying it, and everyone is special, but how many times were you in a position to interview a famous author?
a lot of times.
You're lying. I'm not buying it. I'm not buying
it's
it.
special a good thing.
Yeah.
Whenever I was lifeguarding, writing report cards for people, I'd be like, your kid is special. I never meant it as a good thing.
Well,
Yes.
One way or the other is the first one for me, and I'm enjoying it, and I have so many questions. And
The
I
first
want,
what? Author?
Author,
Famous
yes. First famous author. I'm interviewing first famous author. I wanted to do with. I want to do it with many others, but the opportunity I have right now is gonna be super hard to compete with later on. So, who is the guy we're talking about? Wes Bush is the guy who put product-led growth on the map.
Oh, no.
His book sold 150,000 copies. His methodology drove $1 billion in self-serve revenue across 400 plus companies. And for 6 years, he's been the loudest voice telling SaaS founders to make the product sell itself. Now, he's saying that PLG is no longer an advantage, but a table stakes. So if the playbook he wrote is now the floor, what's the new ceiling? That's what we're going to find out. Wes, welcome to the special edition of the Monkey Business Talk Show at the SaaStonic conference in Šibenik, where SaaS meets sea and sand. Welcome.
Yeah, welcome.
Yeah.
Good to have you, man.
Thanks so
How
much
are
for
you? How are you
having
feeling?
I'm feeling great. I'm excited for this.
Have you been on Croatian coastline before?
No, this is
Oh,
the
wow.
first time.
First one in the Croatian coastline and in Šibenik and on SaaStonic.
Yeah, all first.
Welcome, welcome, welcome.
I think it cannot get any better for you.
Wait, have you dipped your toes into the sea?
Right before. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
And that's why you're waiting to wrap this one up as soon as
Yeah.
possible to
No.
go away.
Maybe tomorrow.
Yeah. How do you enjoy SaaStonic?
Oh, it's great. Yeah, I enjoy the community, the people, and I think when you're just surrounded by so much beauty, it's like, oh, the vibe's good.
Now, when you saw the lineup and when you saw so many speakers who are trying to change the industry every day, who do you think for the next year, who should SaaStonic be a must go to?
I think for like SaaS is an interesting spot right now because it's like the business model is being disrupted. If you don't have a good product, it's being disrupted. So I think for anybody that's really looking to look at that situation, be like, hey, if we don't change, we're going to be disrupted. So let's be ahead of the curve and really go through that. So I think for people that are at the cutting edge or they want to become at the cutting edge of their industry, and it's for anybody who has a tech company for sure.
Yeah, well, that's definitely something we hope to see the next year as well, because every year there's more and more early stage founders here, and as SaaS is changing rapidly, it's just gonna get more fun. But why do you think that PLG in the SaaS industry is table stakes right now?
Yeah, so if you look at Brex's list of like the 50 fastest growing companies in the world right now, I went to like every one of their websites, and long and behold, it's like, okay, I can try for free.
Mm-hmm.
I can sign up, get the value, and they have like generous free plans. And so all of them have amazing product-led motions. And so I tried to look at their competitors. I was like, oh, actually, no, they don't all have product-led motions. And then I started looking at like, well, why would the product-led ones grow faster? And it's actually a lot easier to scale a product-led company than it is to scale a sales-led company. But it's hard to do right and get right. So it's just like that's becoming the norm. There's like if you want to grow fast, if you want to enable that speed, you have to have a motion like that where people can try it before they buy, like overnight. It's like you can make people get to value and upgrade without talking to you. I think that's hard to pull off in any other way than a product-led motion.
But product-led motion and product-led growth is, because of its definition, not for everybody.
Yes.
Right. So what would be the perfect company to implement the product-led way of thinking first and then
Yes.
build it into the product?
Yeah, so when I first wrote the book, I kind of like painted this like the villain was sales-led and then like the good guy was like product-led. And then in my latest edition that came out 2 weeks ago, it was like it's actually a spectrum. So there's, on one side sales-led, one side product-led, and then there's hybrid too. You could be like a product-led sales motion too. And actually most software companies should have something like a hybrid motion. And so back to your question of like, when do you know if it's right for you or not? That's where you should go through and say, okay, so who is our ideal customer? If it's like, I was talking to one guy at a conference last week and he was like, wow, Wes, great to meet you. He was kind of joking about it, but he's like, yeah, my chairman handed me my book and said, we need to do product-led growth. And we wasted 2 years of our
Oh my
time.
goodness.
I was like, so great to meet you too, but I am sorry.
That's the thing, like we need to do it, like, okay,
Yeah.
but it's not a thing that you just layer on top of something.
Well,
It's the way
yeah.
you build your product, the way you think about your customers, the way you interact with your customers. So many things are going to influence whether or not should you go that way, or are you capable to
Yes.
build a product-led growth?
And there's like usually 4 main things I look at, but in that case for that story, it was like he was in an industry where there was only 2,000 people that he could ever sell to.
Yeah, very
and it's
small
very
town,
complicated. And so it was like, well, yeah, I would have told you how to talk to me.
Oh my God.
Don't do it. So then I created this new it was always called the MOAT framework for like, should you do this or not? But like the first thing is like, what's your market? That's the first part of the M. Of like, okay, if you're pure enterprise or pure sales led, like that makes sense. It's okay. That's like a big red flag if that's all you sell to. But then the O is like, what ocean are you in? Is it a red ocean? Is it a blue ocean? A blue ocean is something where it's like uncontested, it's a new market. So usually it requires a lot of education. But then if it's really simple, like a ChatGPT or something like that, that blows up and it's like nobody's used it, but it's like, I can figure out how to use that. I can talk. Thanks. Low barrier. Then you can make it work. But if it's really novel or new or something like that, then it's like, okay, that's very hard. And then the A is like adoption. So if I'm to get to value in this, how hard is it for me? And if it's like extremely hard, it's like, yeah, your product, you should double think about that. But adoption, you can control a little bit because it's like, if you could make your product easier, great, do it.
Easier to use and see the value faster, right?
And then the last one is just touch to value, like how much touching of your customers do you have to do to get them to sign up, to get them to value? And if it's like, yeah, we have to do a lot of that, then it's like, well, maybe it's not the easiest to use product. If it's like project management, like a ClickUp, it's like, well, yeah, you don't need to touch them at all.
Yeah.
It's like, you can figure it out. It's quite easy. So,
But to roll back a little bit, you talk about product-led growth 1.0, 2.0, 3.0.
yes.
What are the differences?
Yeah, so like product-led growth is completely evolving, and so PLG 1.0 is really the best way to think about it is like a company is just focusing on delivering an amazing user experience. So you can still sign up for free, you can get to value on your own, but when you're trying to improve that experience, it's all about like how do we eliminate friction, how to get people to value a lot faster. But then when you look at who's doing the work, it's like, well, it's you as the user. You're doing all the work to get to value. So it attracts what I call a builder. It's somebody that's okay, like rolling up their sleeves and figuring out how to use your tech. But then PLG 2.0 is here now, and this is where it's you sign up for the product. You might prompt or say, hey, can you build me a website that has my branding and a couple other vague details, and then boom, you get that output. So the biggest difference there is like AI just did all that work. And so that's what people want, and they don't want to go through and learn what are the skills of like, okay, is this going to be HTML website, CSS, what JavaScript are you going to use, or like all that the crazy stuff you have to learn if you're a builder. Now it's just like, I don't expect to do that. I'm an editor, and that's all I want to do. I want to prompt and be like, no, the colors are all off. Can you make it a little more orange? That'd be nice.
Yeah.
And it's like, it fixes it. But then you as the user, although you're prompting, you're still being basically the conductor. And you're going through that, and you're still using the interface, the UX, UI of that product. But then PLG 3.0, it's already around the corner. So if you look at the development industry, what's so interesting about that is they are probably, I would say, maybe like 1 to 3 years ahead of most industries. So like when we have the founder of Netlify on the Product-Led podcast, he was like, actually 80% of the people that sign up for our product, they're not people. They're agents. And so PLG 3.0 is actually all about agent experience. So it's where, how do you make your product really easy to use for agents to really understand your product and get to value? And so that's where it's completely headless. There's no product that you have to use as a user. Your agents can actually use it for you. And so that's what's going to become a lot more common, where it's like, hey, if you want to do anything, your agents can sign up for other websites, they can start using them, and you might say, hey, I want an app for a training plan for if you're signing up for a triathlon or something, and it'll use Netlify, and it will sign up for it. It'll go through that experience, and you're like, great, just send me the link.
Yeah.
That's all. You didn't use it.
Do you argue that if PLG, if a company, for a specific type of company, okay, specific market segment, specific jobs to be done within the product, if the PLG motion, if they lived in a PLG 1.0 and the PLG was working for them, and they transitioned the product, so they adjusted the product, they put an AI on top of it, so they entered the PLG era 2.0, right? So they satisfied the need of the user to not invest so much time. Do you think, and it's easy to imagine a company transitioning from one stage to the next. Do you think all of them, if they want the PLG, are going to transition in 3.0 or headless state of doing things?
It's really hard to tell, because there is like, should you move from 1.0 to 2.0? I would say absolutely yes. Like if you're not doing that to some degree, I always like to joke, I'm like, you're cooked.
Yeah.
Because I'll tell you, like the first experience I had where I was like, oh, this is changing quick. So we use Score app at Product-Led to create like what's called a Product-Led assessment. So like it's not that long, but it's about like 10 to 18 questions where we can understand pretty quickly, like, okay, where is the biggest gap in your business on like as a product-led business. So, and then it spits out like a PDF report and a couple other things to see like, hey, this is what you should focus in on. And so I was like, I had a new quiz I wanted to create. And then I was thinking about it. I'm like, okay, these are the questions, this is the topic, and let me go ahead and build this out. And then I go through the process of going through. I'm like, okay, what's the name of this quiz? Okay, I'm putting in each question. And I'm like, this is really tedious. I'm copy, pasting, everything's in Claude. And then I'm just like, hey, Claude, just for the hell of it, create a lovable prompt and just go through basically how to make this. And then while I'm still going through the manual process, I throw it in lovable, and then bing, it's done. And I'm looking at like the difference. I'm still working on the Score app thing, and then I see right over there on the other screen, I'm like, oh, that lovable version is better. And the back end isn't there yet. It's like I would still have to spend a little bit more time on that. But I was just immediately surprised. I was like, expectations. If one product in one industry is able to get you to value in like 60 seconds or less, that means the new standard is that across all industries. Because once you feel that, everything changes. Your expectation is now, I want that. That's good. and that sucks. And so when it comes to PLG 1.0, that's why I always joke. I'm like, they're cooked because everybody expects that now, that it's a 2.0 experience. And if they don't, like, if you don't have it, it's like, when are you going to get that? Because I want that. So
Yeah. Give me 5 things. um, I want to see 5 things every SaaS founder has to do now in this 2.0 era to lay the groundworks for 3.0.
If they want to be the growth be driven by the PLG, obviously, because they're
Yeah.
enterprise
Yeah.
level SaaS, like the sales, right,
What would be
driven.
yes.
main 5 things?
Yes. So one of the biggest ones is just thinking about what is the output that your product can do. So it all goes back to like, okay, what is the core job to be done that you can do in your product? But that's all something you should have been able to do in PLG 1.0 of like thinking about, okay, get people to value to that point pretty quickly, but the user is still doing it. Now in PLG 2.0, you're like, okay, now we still want that output, but the AI is going to do the majority of the heavy lifting there. And so what is great when you're going to go from 2.0 to 3.0 is you're going to have to do all that work anyways. But it's just a matter of like, okay, what are those specific inputs? So the very first step I always go through is like, okay, look at your entire application, your software. What is the biggest thing it can do? But let's break it down into what is the first strike. So if you like bowling, you know, when you knock down all those pins, it's exciting. And what helps is really thinking about, okay, what is that one thing where people finally like get what your product is all about? Yeah. And there's like the thing about the first strike that's hard is there's like, yes, you want people to kind of get it, but there's also in your industry, every market has this or every product should have this, is like, what is the actual beginner problem that somebody struggles with in your space? So an example could be something like, okay, so we were helping this company called Hyped It. They help like music, people who create music, like hobbyists, where it's like, okay, great, I have a song on Spotify, but I have 0 listeners. They're like, I want more listeners. So they might sign up for Hyped It. And their platform right now, they focus a lot on getting you to set up meta ads so that you can start advertising and get more listeners. And so I'm like, how long does it actually take people to do that? Like he's like, it's weeks, like to get them live and everything. And so it's a long process versus now we're like, well, what if we could create something in 60 seconds? What could that first meaningful first strike be in 60 seconds? And I was like, well, if you just give us the URL of that song, based on the genre of the music, we will create a complete music promotion campaign with the exact links you can share with your friends on social media. And it's something you want to share. And it feels like an artistic experience based on your artwork and everything else that you have with that song. And so in 60 seconds, you can do that. And that's a strike where you're like, great, you're already getting listeners, you're already solving a part of that problem. But now that you've done that, hey, great, wouldn't you want to share this on Meta and get more people? And so it's a natural thing where it rolls into the next kind of intermediate level of problems of like, great, now we can solve for scale. You got 100 listeners, let's get 1,000 with Meta ads. And so first step, first strike, nail that. That's the hardest step, because then once you do that, the next thing is really, I call it like map out the whole process you currently do to do that. So I like record every step. If you have a sales-led company, you go through and be like, hey, what are you currently doing today to do that? And also with customer success, like, are you doing anything else like sneaky? It actually is kind of important to get people to value. Like, oh, you're showing them that interesting feature every time. Oh, okay. So we got to capture that.
Right.
And then I document like every single one of those steps. Usually it's like anywhere from like 70 to 100 steps for a company if it's like a traditional SaaS. And then you get to design the fast path of like, okay, so out of all that, if we look through every one of those steps, which one's a green step? Like, you gotta have that. Like, if you don't have that, you're screwed. And then the yellow step is like, yeah, that's important, but you can delay it. You don't have to have that right away. It doesn't help you get the first strike. It helps you set up the rest of the product, but like, let's push it out. It's fine. And then red stuff, it's like usually like 30 to 50% of stuff we could just cut. It's like, do you really need that zip code? I don't think so. Like, let's kill it. And that's the fun part, especially being a outside third party coming into a company where like, I don't care about that stuff. I don't. They're like, what? We need that. I'm like,
Yeah, they're emotionally
who said
attached to
that?
every single step that they've created. Yeah.
Some salesperson probably told you to keep that form field like 5 years ago. It's like things have changed. And so once you go through that part, then you can go through all those green steps and basically say, hey, you know what? Should the human do that? Or could the AI agent do that? And that's really where you get to that transformation, because then you have like the raw material of like those specific steps, and you're like, actually, yeah, they don't need to do that step. They don't need to do that step. And that's where you try and get it down to like there's 2 to 3 things that the human has to do, and the rest is the AI agent. But the most important thing is when you're thinking about the steps that the human has to do, I call it the Betty Crocker effect. So if you don't know Betty Crocker, it's a nice good old cake mix. And so actually Sarah from Chart Mogul, when I shared this in one of my workshops, she was like, yeah, they don't have that in Europe.
Yeah, no.
because
We don't.
because it's not healthy. Not at all. And so you're like, yeah, it's a North American thing. But yeah, you basically put water in it and then
And
mix it
eggs
up,
if
throw
you
it in
want.
the oven. No eggs
No
initially.
eggs. Because in the UK they have it.
Yeah.
So Sarah
Okay.
should know they have it in the UK. They
Yeah.
call it in a different name, but they have it
Okay.
in the UK. My husband
Wait,
is so in
sorry, I'm from
love.
Balkans.
So
What
in
is it
love.
about?
Like it's a mix of flour, so a ready-made mix for you to just put water in and bake it as a cake.
Yes.
It's a
Oh.
sponge cake, right?
Yes.
Is that the
Yeah,
thing?
yeah,
Right?
exactly. So with the cake, when they first introduced Betty Crocker, they just had the water. Just put the water in and then throw it in the oven. And so they didn't get that much adoption at the end of the day, because they just had people didn't feel like it was wholesome. And so when they added the egg as an ingredient, they were like, oh, yes, this is wholesome. That almost like homemade, but really easy. And so when I'm talking about those steps that the human has to do, you have to make sure that you add in some of those steps where it's like, what is the thing that makes this output wholesome? Where they feel like,
Eggs.
this is mine. Yeah, what is
Put
the
some eggs in
egg
it.
in what you do? Because AI can automate everything. It can make it so much easier. It can make it so much faster, but that's where you get a lot of AI slop. Because you're like, that's not me. That's like, if you ask it to write a LinkedIn post or something like that, there's so many times where you're like, that's terrible. So it's like, what is that, like 20% that gets it? So once you get that, the last step is like, okay, build a clickable prototype, just showcase what it actually looks like. It's so easy to do with Claude these days. And then just break it down, your roadmap, like what are the first things we're going to do to make this real life, and execute that. So that's the long-winded version of those 5 steps.
I completely understand, and I just caught something that you just said. You can automate everything with AI, and that kind of brings us close to the hot take that we have.
Yes.
Hot take. I was waiting for you there. Yeah.
Next time we need to bring some prop or something.
Yeah.
Hot take, the signal, like a signal.
So we have a hot take. Agents are signing up for a software, but humans are still the ones buying it. And AI made them more skeptical, not more willing to hand over the decision. The data shows validation loop is human and it's growing, not shrinking. 2026 Forrester State of Buying, Business Buying, based on 80,000 global buyers, found that 94% of the buyers use AI during the purchasing process, but they compensate for AI's limitations by validating what they find against trusted sources, peers, analytics, and colleagues. So, what do you think about that? Like, with that 3.0 world that we are after, do you think that's going to change at some point, or human will be always the one buying the decision?
Oh, for the buying decision?
Yes.
Huh.
And testing the product, because that's the point at the end of the day, you know.
Yeah, I don't think it will care.
And using the product.
I don't think, like, what you care about is the output. So if they end up using, like, a perfect example, like, let's say you build something on Lovable. Okay, great. So Lovable decided to use Supabase for your backend database. Do you care if it works?
Maybe.
Maybe.
You might, but for like 80% plus of the people, maybe even more, they don't. Most people will just be like, it does what I want. This is amazing. And awesome, great, okay, unless it's like astronomical cost. Now, another thing, example of that is like, okay, so let's say, do you really care which AI model that is getting used for your SaaS application or something
I'm
like that?
obviously not the right person to ask those questions because I do. Very much so.
Yeah.
But let's say I do.
Yeah, but I mean, like, okay, so in one case, you're like, okay, do you have to use 4.7 for Opus? Or it's like, hey, great, let's use the older model because the output is very simple. And so it's like, but one's less, costs you less. And so there's a little bit of like, oh, maybe I don't care as much for some of those things as long as the output is really good for what you want to do. But yeah.
You were saying that all that matters is output. And it doesn't matter who's like doing the job, agent or a human, as long as the output is there, an agent is doing the work, using the application, and a human is happy. That's all that's important, right?
I mean, there will be some times where it's like, yeah, like when you use Claude, you can ask, hey, like ask me each step of the way of this process. And it could ask, hey, I found these 3 options. Which one do you think is best? Which one do you want to optimize? Hey, you want to use Opus 4.7. Okay, baller.
I'll take your money.
You'll take the tokens. Okay, max it out. We are maxing. And so that's fine. But yeah, some other people will just be like, no, just like make the decision. I got enough on my plate. I just want to see it. So I think it depends on like the complexity of it too. Like if it's you're building like a little toy app or something like okay, it doesn't really matter. It's not even gonna use many tokens, so just make the decision. But if it's like mission critical software, you're like, yeah, actually, this is gonna cost us a lot if we're using the most expensive models. So it's also not that complex. So let's use another one. You choose or something like that.
That's kind of the thing. That future where agents are making the purchases and making the choices.
Yeah.
That's one thing I start feeling like a boomer. Like I don't want it to do it for me. Like the example that you said for the Supabase, I would ask him, like, what do you think? He's like, we'll just go with the Supabase. But wait.
Yeah.
I want to compare.
But do you have a choice? That's the point. Like Lovable built their own architecture. They made a choice. They baked in a solution or a feature. So that's part of Lovable. So what the level of decision you're making is, are you going to use Lovable or not? But you as a human. I can go ages about, who's making a decision here. Is this really a PLG motion anymore or not? Because I don't think it is when you have agents talking to agents or using the product and the human is not part of the onboarding or the entire experience, then I honestly think that has nothing to do with the PLG. It's some different type of animal completely, right?
Right.
So the animal that we have never seen before is now just popping out of the dark and staring us right into the face. It doesn't mean it doesn't have some similarity to the logic before, but I honestly think it's a completely different animal. Might be scary for someone, but I think it's like fluffy and cuddling, and you should accept it, right? And call it the right name.
What do you think the right name is?
I don't know.
The dark void of
I
AI.
don't know. I don't know, but it's a completely different way of people working and thinking and building products. If they're building for an agent, is there going to be a human in the decision-making loop process ever or not? Right? Is the human going to be just on the end of the output?
I think one thing that's hard to, when you're asking that question too, is there's some products you're still going to want to see and visualize. So it's never going to be like everything is, you don't see it at all. And then there's like some other products where you're like, well, you're kind of like a back end or integrated product where you don't actually need that kind of front end, and then it's all about agent experience. So it's like whether you use the term like PLG 1.0, 2.0, 3.0, at the core there's like PLG 1.0 was about user experience. PLG 2.0, it's all about like the output experience.
Yes.
PLG 3.0 is agent experience. And I think like that's probably a better word of like, it's just the agent experience.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
You completely agree on that one. Do you want me to
3,
move? Okay.
2,
1.
1.
The
Signal.
You spent like 6 years trying to teach founders or teaching founders to build a product that sells itself to a human. And the human was walking through the funnel and having that experience, right? I was really happy, had an aha moment, and was happy with the output or whatever in 2.0. And it was talking to other humans and saying that's where actually PLG Evolution is happening, when a human is talking to it's a word of mouth thing. When the funnel like that, it completely disappears, the agent is the one picking. We just answered that question, kinda.
Yeah.
Is that a PLG anymore, or is it a different animal?
So if I understand the question right, is the agent experience still PLG?
Yes, is the agent experience still PLG? Can we still call it like that, or?
Yeah, I mean it's still a product.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, how would you?
Yes, product. It is product like.
And the same principles still apply. It's just the biggest difference is for each of the evolution is like 1.0 is like the user does all or pretty much all the work. The product hopefully does like good heavy lifting there, but then PLG 2.0 is like, well, now we take like you were doing 80% of the work, now you're doing like 10.
20.
Or, 10
okay.
or 20. yeah.
And now
if you're
not
cracking
doing
the egg, you're doing 20.
Right, exactly. And now you're not doing much.
And then the 3.0, it's like, okay, you might not need to do anything, but the time to value, every time, it's faster. Like, it's way faster.
Right.
And so in PLG 1.0, it might have been like, hey, like it's super quick. Like we can do it in like a few minutes. Now it's like, hey, it's seconds, like 60 seconds. But in the agent experience, it's going to be milliseconds. Or hopefully gets down to that particular point where we're competing on like, hey, look at that agent experience.
Speed.
Because that's probably what the agents are going to optimize for. They're like,
going to do it before you even start thinking about what you need. They're going to do it for you.
That's actually true.
Okay.
Yeah, that's actually true.
This was a joke. This is a joke. But okay. Yeah. Makes sense. Shall we move to the more fun bit of the conversation?
Absolutely, because there's a lot of sauce here. And rapid fire questions. This or that. There's no none. There's no both. Okay. There's just this or that. Okay. You have to pick. You have to pick one.
You can explain.
Are you ready?
And I can't explain.
You cannot.
We can have a chat right after them, but I need you to answer them. Yeah. Ready?
Yes.
All right, let's go. Activation or expansion revenue?
Activation.
A power user who'll never pay, or a casual user who pays day one?
Casual.
Kill the free tier or kill the sales team?
Sales team.
Oh my god!
PLG for life.
Living it.
You should print that on your shirt.
Kill the sales team.
Kill the sales.
That's the new motto. Lose 30% of signups to qualify harder, or take everyone and sort it out on onboarding?
The first one.
All right. Win the agent's recommendation or win the human's trust?
This is bullish on the future, so agent.
Wow.
A product that agent picks or a product that user searches by name?
Agent.
Oh, okay. Better UX and UI or invest in onboarding and user education?
UX, UI.
All right. Build for the user who knows what they want or the user who doesn't?
What they want.
A 7-day trial with a credit card or a 30-day trial without?
Oh. 30-day.
Oh, okay. Morning person or night owl?
Morning.
Marathon or sprint?
Marathoner.
PLG 1.0 or modern SLG?
1.0. It'll still win.
Oh my goodness. Not
All
for
right.
every type of
No,
company,
no.
okay?
I wanted kind of to test, will he be like a diehard, like he eats what he preaches? But yeah, 1.0 here, you believe it would win over modern SLG.
Well, yeah.
I'm gonna give you the opportunity to expand there.
So typically most sales companies, they don't always win on the best product. And so even if you had the 1.0 version, you could still technically have a bit of a better product potentially. But like the thing about this question that's hard is like, what's your market? Now, if your
Yeah,
market's like
yeah.
100 people, I would choose SLG all the way.
Exactly.
If we're talking about a market where it's like a consumer product with like 100 million potential users, I'd be like, yeah, 1.0 anyway. So like, they're all going to charge $10 or like
Yeah,
something
yeah,
like that,
yeah,
where it's
exactly.
like, that's the only way you can do it at scale.
The next one is you basically have two answers: underrated or overrated.
All right.
Maya's gonna walk you through it.
Yeah, so I'm going to read some statements and you say overrated or underrated. You flag it like
Right.
that. The free trial countdown timer.
Why are these so good? Underrated.
Okay, reverse trials. Start with premium, downgrade to free.
Underrated.
Time to value as the North Star metric.
Underrated.
The aha moment as a concept.
Underrated.
Product qualified leads.
Very underrated.
Sales assist motions inside a PLG model.
Still underrated.
Freemium as an acquisition channel.
Underrated.
Onboarding checklists.
Overrated.
User-based pricing.
Overrated.
Usage-based
Oh,
pricing.
usage.
Sorry, usage-based pricing.
Usage-based.
Thank
is
you.
underrated. User-based is overrated.
Yes.
For sure.
Yeah, okay. No, it's not like I agree or disagree, but yes, that's what I meant. The 30-day free trial.
Definitely overrated for some things.
Okay, founder-led sales in the early days.
Underrated. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Key,
No.
what?
Keg stands.
Keg stands.
Keg stands.
Yeah.
What? Like what
Keg
is this?
stands.
What you added this?
Overrated.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Sorry, texting your ex at 2 a.m.
Oh, I don't do that. I don't have. No, overrated.
And Sasanac 2026.
2026. Underrated.
Wow, okay. That was
Wes,
it.
it
Thank
was a
you
pleasure to
so
have you,
much.
man.
Yeah.
We had really good conversation, and we hope that we'll have the opportunity to speak with you once the PLG 3.0 comes to life.
Yes, definitely.
I was like, do you like that animal?
Yeah. It might be called the Asian experience by then.
Thank you very much.
Okay,
man.
thank you, Wes, so much.
And enjoy the rest of the
Awesome.
Sasanac.
Yes.
Yes, thanks so much for having me.